weather right across the country. We're going to start out in northern Ontario. We have this widespread risk of some non-severe thunderstorms. However, the main event with this is going to be the heavy rainfall. Now, a lot of the more severe storms will remain stateside into Minnesota, but Kenora into Dryden, we'll start to see some of those thunderstorms coming to fruition as we're heading towards your evening. But this is the cluster that we are watching right here. It is going to be the heavy rain that pushes right along into Hudson's Bay and then across areas of Marathon as we're heading into our day on Tuesday. So when we are talking about heavy rainfall, upwards of 30 to 50 millimeters expected for Thunder Bay, 10 to 20 across areas of Dryden, and right along that low pressure system is where we're going to see the heaviest rainfall as it pushes into areas across Quebec. Now, taking another look across Western Canada, we've had multiple tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings through this weekend. And as we go through our day on Monday, another risk is emerging, mainly right along the eastern portions of BC and into the foothills. That's where we have the risk for more severe storms across Saskatchewan into Manitoba. Non-severe thunderstorms are still expected. And when we are talking about some of that thunderstorm risk, it's going to be right as we're heading into the evening across regions of Saskatchewan and into Manitoba as well. Across portions of Calgary into Medicine Hat, we'll see some of those thunderstorms as we're heading through the evening, very scattered in nature. Also have that risk further towards north into Fort McMurray and right along the foothills. So Hinton into Grand Prairie, that's where we can be taking a look at some of those more severe storms. So possibly getting some of that large hail as well as heavy rainfall with that. In terms of how much rainfall, 5 to 15 millimeters right along the foothills where we'll see that thunderstorm risk. Similarly, up towards areas of Fort Nelson where we still do have those active wildfires, 15 to 30 millimeters, which is some great news there. And down towards areas of Manitoba into Brandon, 5 to 15 millimeters as well. Now, southern Ontario will be getting a little bit of that kick of some of those thunderstorms as we head into our day tomorrow. The Bruce Peninsula into Cottage Country, we do have the risk of some severe possible storms. And that's really going to be kicking off as we head towards the evening. However, we can be taking a look at that risk of some of those severes right along the lake breeze in and across central portions of southern Ontario as we're heading through Tuesday afternoon. However, those more severe storms are expected in the evening into the overnight right along the shorelines of Georgian Bay as well as Lake Huron.
Did you change your cell phone?
Thanks for joining us for your national forecast. Meteorologist Laura Power, Rhythm Reet. Rhythm, another day, another storm threat.
Active weather is continuing across western portions of Canada. The main area that we need to look at for some severe storms is going to be stretching from Whitehorse all the way down to the foothills. All thanks to that instability, the warm temperatures as we go through our day on Monday.
Yeah, this cold front is going to trigger some storms primarily up in the north, but we could see some down the Elbow region and the foothills as Rhythm mentioned. And then we will actually get a renewed storm threat once again on Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday as well, but beneficial rain on the way.
Yeah, so when we are talking about the rain, 5 to 15 millimeters, it really does depend where that thunderstorm risks does set up. Across portions of northeastern portions of BC, that's also some really good news for some of those wildfires. But like Laura mentioned, when we are talking about that risk for some thunderstorms, we have that instability continuing through Tuesday into Wednesday, so that risk is really going to be sticking around. But what's so interesting, Laura, is that those temperatures are taking a nosedive across the prairies.
Yep, Friday is the first day of summer officially, June 20th, summer solstice, longest day of the year. But this is how your summer is starting off out west, upwards of 5 degrees below normal. I'm so sorry to have to show this, but yeah, quite the plummet.
Yeah, when we take a look into Saturday, it's going to be this Arctic outflow that is going to be bringing a northeasterly wind across the prairies. So you take a look at those temperatures on Thursday, 24, 11 degrees. That's spring. If you're going to be up in Banff, we were talking about one of our coworkers heading up there, it's going to be around 3 degrees. So those winter jackets are going to be needed.
Yeah, he's going to have to pack extra, pack for every season. But in the short range, here is your Tuesday afternoon temperatures. Notice those thunderstorm icons popping in for southern Alberta as well as kind of central Saskatchewan. But generally still seasonal.
Yeah, and then as we take a look over into Winnipeg, you're still holding on to those high pressures, but that risk of some scattered thunderstorms is going to be there as well. But the main risk that we have been discussing has been across northern portions of Ontario. When we are talking about this risk, it's that same system that brought that active weather across areas of Winnipeg. It's going to be moving further towards the east. Heavy rainfall for Thunder Bay. Kenora, Dryden, you're going to see those thunderstorms popping off right along that cold front, and then the rain just shifts further towards the east. When we are talking about some of those totals, 30 to 50 millimeters for areas like Thunder Bay as we're heading into your Tuesday. However, anywhere that we see some of that risk of thunderstorms, that's where you can see higher accumulations. Similarly, the further east, we had Wawa into Moosonee, 5 to 10 millimeters for both of you. But that risk is going to be shifting into southern Ontario.
Yeah, we're adding some orange on it as well for Tuesday. Severe possible, likely evening storm. So we kind of have a bit of a, how would you say, models aren't totally agreeing for the storms midweek, but so far we're estimating storms Tuesday evening, continuing throughout the overnight, and then ramping back up on Wednesday. So let's play this through here. There's Tuesday morning continuing across the north. There is Tuesday afternoon, 2 p.m., beginning to see some instability across portions of southern Ontario, 400, Highway 6. Then we get a bit of a chance of storms overnight, and then once again on Wednesday, seemingly going to be the most severe day for thunderstorm threats. Yeah, we could be seeing some heavy rainfall totals as well.
Yeah, and then with the Wednesday system, of course, we are still digging into the details because it's going to be that risk of possibly seeing some severe stuff. When we take a look at some of those model runs, some models are showing heavier rain further towards the east, some towards the west. So as we do head into Wednesday into Thursday, we're going to be honing in on all of those details.
Yeah, check back as we slowly kind of get better and more accurate data from weather models. But in the long range, we are going to see quite substantial amounts of rainfall for Ontario, Quebec, northern portions, as well as southern portions.
And all of this rain is some good news for the gardeners, I'm sure. However, that does mean that we have a lot more moisture in the atmosphere. So, Laura, it's going to get muggy next week.
Very muggy. Here's a look at your Sunday temperatures. Humidex values, rather 44 Humidex in Windsor, 37 in Toronto, and it could be even worse come the start of next week.
Spot a